الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي جعل القرآن موعظة وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين، وأصلي وسلم على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, so how are you all doing? And yes, I know it's kind of late. I'm doing it now, releasing these lessons now. Well, to be fair, we were working on a project, so that's why. So that's why we're kind of late, because that project apparently is not gonna take a short time to make. It's gonna take kind of a long time. So I'm not gonna spoil it. Inshallah, next semester maybe, or Allah Alam. But inshallah, still underway. It's longer than we thought. So that's why we were late with releasing the lessons. But better late than never, am I right? So anyways, Ahkam al-Mad, right? So Ahkam al-Mad is really fun, to be honest. Ahkam al-Mad is really simple, easy, and fun. But for the one who never studied Ahkam al-Mad, if he studies it all at once, without practicing the ones he already studied, as in take it all at once, then it's gonna be a little hard to differentiate, right? It's gonna be a little hard for him. But if you take it piece by piece, bite by bite, inshallah it's gonna be easy. It's really simple and fun, really. Just memorizing, like every other ahkam. But it's fun to learn. So anyways, ahkam al-mad or al-mad. What is al-mad? First, lughatan, right? So linguistically, al-mad lughatan means to increase or stretch. Like if I said maddaytu shay, I stretched it. As for istilahan, al-mad means to prolong the sound. Okay, to prolong the sound of one of the letters of mad or leen. So this is mad, istilahi form, right? In tajweed, al-mad tajweed, when they say mad, this is what they mean. This is the definition that they mean, is prolong the sound of one of the letters of mad or leen. So before we start with the categories of mad and of mad, we first have to learn or know what are the letters of mad, obviously, and leen. So what are the letters of mad? The letters that will be stretched, these are the only letters to be stretched, by the way. No other letter will be stretched. These are only letters that allow stretching, you could say. So letters of mad. Mad is the alif, and the waw, and the ya. So these are the letters of mad. You stretch them when the alif is sakina. Well, the alif is always sakina anyways. You don't see alif mutaharika, right? So if alif is sakina, and before it is corresponding haraka. It's the fatha. So alif sakina, and before it's fatha. Waw is supposed to be sakina, and before it is corresponding haraka, which is the dhamma. And ya, it has to be sakina, and before it is corresponding haraka, which is the kasra. And after it shouldn't be a sukun or hamza. We're going to talk about that, why I said sukun and hamza later, but just saying it now. And this called of mad is called mad tabi'a, right? We're going to get to it, inshallah, along the slides, later on in the slides. So, examples, like you see, qala, yaqulu, qila. You say, and this type of mad, by the way, is 2 harakat. And as you remember, the 1 haraka is the period it takes to pronounce one moving letter. So I say 2 harakat would be baba, qala, yaqulu, qila. Why did we stretch the alif, waw, and ya? Because the alif is sakina, and before it is the fatha, corresponding haraka, which is the fatha. And the waw is sakina, and before it is the dhamma. And ya is sakina, before it is the kasra. And after the alif, there's no hamza or sukun, or fake sukun. So that's why if we say qal, and now this is a different situation, right? We can say qal, 2 harakat, or we could do 4 harakat. Qal. We're gonna get to that later. But if we don't stop, we say qala, like this. It's 2 harakat. Qala, yaqulu, qila. These are the letters of mad. Alif, waw, ya, all are sakin, and before it is the corresponding haraka. Okay? And the letters of leen. Leen are the same as mad, the waw and the ya, except there's no alif. So what's the difference between letters of leen, and letters of mad? Other than there is no alif in the letters of leen, is what they share is, the letters of mad and leen is the waw and ya, okay? And they also share that both the waw and ya is sakin. In the mad, to stretch the waw or ya, it has to both be sakin, right? And also the leen, waw has to be sakin and ya has to be sakin. So what's the difference? The difference is the haraka. The difference is the haraka. Before in the mad, we said the waw before it supposed to be a dhamma, and the ya before it's supposed to be a kasra. But here for lean, the waw is sakina and the ya is sakina, right? The waw before it is fatha, and the ya before it is fatha. That's the difference. The haraka is the difference. Everything is the same except the haraka and the fact that there is no alif in the letters of lean. For example, سوف سوف two harakat سوف, like this. You see waw sakina, and before it is fatha, and we're not gonna stop, or there is no sukun and hamza. سوف two harakat. Quraysh as well. قريش قريش قريش. The ya sakina before it is fatha. So these are the letters of lean and mad, the ones that are stretched. These are the only letters that are stretched. So now that we got that out of the way, now we go with the categories, or to the categories of mad. So mad has two categories. There's asli and there's far'i. Asli means original, and it's only two harakat, like the one we took. What's the example? قال سوف قيل, like this, two harakat only. And the far'i is two or more harakat. It can be two, can be four, or can be even six. And the fact that I put two or more, I didn't just put more than two and place only the two in the asli, I'm gonna mention it later, inshallah. So in this lesson, inshallah, we're gonna take all of the asli, because the asli is simple. The asli is simple, doesn't require a lot of effort, you could say. It's really simple. So we're gonna start with the asli, second, only two harakat. All of them are only two harakat. So mad al-asli, what are the types of mad in this type of mad? So we have mad tabi'i. It's like the one that we said. قال يقول قيل سوف قريش. This is mad tabi'i. There is mad badal, which we're gonna take inshallah today, and mad al-iwad, and mad al-sila sughra. So mad al-tabi'i is like you said, قال يقول قيل. We said, and the conditions for it is the letter of mad or lean should be sakin. The letter before the letter of mad must have its corresponding haraka or fatha for waw or ya. So if it's a letter of mad, must have corresponding haraka, it must be sakin. But if it's a letter of lean, must be sakin and have fatha before it, before the waw or the ya. The third condition is that there shouldn't be sukun or hamza after the letter of mad. So these conditions, if a word fulfills these conditions, then this is mad tabi'i. And you see Sawfa and Quraysh. As for mad al-badal, what is mad al-badal? Mad al-badal, as you can see the examples. Here you have the word آمنوا, two harakat. آمنوا, أوتوا, إيمانا, أوتوا, إيمانا. So if you notice, it's the same as mad al-tabi'i. You have the alif sakina, you have waw sakina, and the ya sakina. And before the alif, waw, and ya, they have the corresponding haraka. So what's the difference? Why is this different than mad al-tabi'i? Well, if you notice, before the ya, and before the alif, and before the waw, all of them have hamza, and this is why it's called mad al-badal. Basically, mad al-badal is stretching the hamza. آمنوا, you're stretching the haraka of the hamza. آمنوا, أوتوا, إيمانا. Because mad al-badal, I don't really want to get too deep into it, definition. I try to make it short as possible. Is basically, for example, amanu. It's originally it's two hamzat. You have, where's the mouse? Hamza here, fatha, and here it's supposed to be another hamza with sukun. So it's gonna be amanu, it's gonna be like this. But we replaced. This is what badal means. Badal means to replace something. So we replaced it with fatha. Alif. So it becomes amanu, because from the same haraka, right? They have the hamza with fatha, so we have alif. We have hamza with dhamma, we have after it waw. We changed the sakin hamza with waw. And you have the hamza with kasra, we changed the sakin hamza with ya. It's gonna be amanu, utu, and imana. And the conditions are the letter of mad should be sakin, just like tabi'i. The letter before the letter of mad must have its corresponding haraka. And before the letter of mad, there should be a hamza. That's the only difference between tabi'i and badal. And then there's the other type of mad, which is mad al-iwad, like عليما خبير بصير. And it's called عوض. عوض means to compensate, I guess you could say, is a close definition to it. Why? Because when you stop, we don't say عليما. For example, the ayah إن الله كان عليما حكيما. عليما حكيما. Aliman, we didn't say Alima, Hakima, like this, because we're continuing. We say Aliman, Hakima, and we stopped on Hakima, that's what we say Hakima, like this. We replace the tanween with alif, so that means that's what Awad is. Basically, if you're gonna stop, you replace the Hamza, the tanween, Fatha, yani, where is it? This tanween with Fatha, with alif. Khabiro, Basiro, you compensate the tanween with fatha, with the alif. Alima, aliman khabiro, hakima. But if you're gonna stop on alima, you say alima, like this. So what are the conditions? The conditions is the word must be a noun. So if the word is a verb, then it's you can't apply this rule. This rule doesn't apply. Other than noun, it doesn't apply. There must be a tanween with fatha. So the one we see right now must stop on the word. So you can't say aliman like this and you stop on it. You can't. You have to say alima. And examples here, you have baytun. Baytun, baytan. Actually, it's supposed to say bayta because there's tanween with fath, and I'm stopping on the word, so it's wrong to say baytan. It's supposed to be bayta. Anyways, so baytun, how do we stop on it? We say bayt. And baytin, how do you stop on it? You say bayt as well. Only the one with tanween and fatha, you say bayta. Bayta, like this. So if only gonna stop on the word. And another condition I want to apply or add is the one with the feminine ha. Here we have وَشَجَرَةً تَخْرُجُ. So here وَشَجَرَة, shajara, tree, is a noun. So that's the first condition. Must have tanween al-fath. So where is it? Tanween al-fath, we have it right here. And must stop on the word. So how are we going to stop on this word? Are we going to say shajara? Or are we going to say shajara? Or are we going to say shajarata? We're going to say shajara. Because there is a feminine ha here. And because there is a feminine ha, the rule of mad al-awad doesn't apply here. So feminine ha is another exception. If there is a feminine ha, then you don't say shajarata or shajaro, you say shajarah with a ha. So the conditions, the word must be a noun, there must be tanween with fatha, must stop on the word, and must not be a feminine ha. And the last one, mad al-sila sughra, like أهله ومثلهم رجعه لقادر. If you notice, when we say أهله, we're basically putting a waw here. The ha with dhamma, we say أهله, we stretch it. That means we put, even in the mushaf, you see there's a small waw here to indicate that you have to stretch it. And here رجعه لقادر, رجعه, even you see some kind of ya zayda here. You have some kind of symbol like an angle here to indicate that there is a ya sakina, right? A ya sakina that you stretch it. رجعه لقادر. So what is مد الصلة الصغرى? مد الصلة الصغرى, there must be, يعني the conditions for it, there must be a ضمير, ها ضمير. We're gonna get to it inshallah. So these two hats are ha ضمير. The ha ضمير must have حركة. You have the first one has dhamma and the second one has kasra. The letter before it, as in before the ha dhamir, and after it must have also have haraka. So we have the lam with haraka and the waw with haraka. It doesn't matter if it's fatha, dhamma or kasra, as long as it's haraka and the sukun. Here we have haraka on the ayn and the lam, right? And then the ha dhamir must not have a hamza after it. So this is mad sila sughra. You apply or say two harakat. أهله ومثلهم رجعه لقادر. So what is هاء الضمير? هاء الضمير is for the غائب مذكر and مفرد, or مذكر غائب and مفرد. الغائب means third person. When I say كتابي, this is for متكلم, this is first person. When I say كتابك, your book, The first one I said kitabi, my book, first person. Then I said kitabuk, your book. This is second person. And then when I say kitabuh, his book. This is third person. This is ghaib. This is ghaib. It means for the third person. Dhakar means mudhakkar, the male. Male. Mufrad means singular. So this is ha al-dhamir. Ha al-dhamir contains, or definition of it refers to third person, male and singular. So here the ayah, أهله ومثلهم. أهله, whose family? أهل, from family, right? Who? His family. Whose family? Ayyub alayhi salam, from Surah Sad, the family of Ayyub alayhi salam. You say أهله ومثلهم, his family and likes of them. رجعه لقادر. This is from the ayah Surah الطارق. إنه على رجعه لقادر. إنه, even إنه, the ha has haraka, the dhamma before, and the ha is dhamir, ha dhamir. It is ghaib, right? It's third person. إنه, that is, refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إنه, and its ha dhamir has haraka, before it has haraka, and the letter after it has haraka. And there's no hamza after it, so you stretch it to harakat. Innahu ala raj'ihi. He, that is the he here, to bring him back. Who is this? Yani human or man, because it's only singular here. So the human, singular, and is mudhakkar. Raj'ihi laqadir, able to bring him back. And the ha dhamir before it is kasra, and after is fatha, doesn't matter as long as it's haraka, and ha dhamir itself has haraka. So innahu ala raj'ihi laqadir. So this is ha dhamir. So let's go over the conditions again. There must be ha dhamir, and we said the ha dhamir must be ghaib, third person, must be mudhakkar, male, and must be mufrad, singular. The ha dhamir must have haraka. The letter before it and after it also must have haraka. And ha al-dhamir must not have after it is a hamza. So when these conditions apply, this is mad sila sughra, which is only 2 harakat. And by this, or now, we finished the ahkam al-mad, the al-asli, yani the one with 2 harakat only. Let's just go quickly through them as a revision, right? Just before we end the lesson, inshallah. So mad al-asli. Let's go back a little, just one slide. So the categories of mad, there's asli and far'i. Asli means only 2 harakat. Only 2 harakat. You can't increase 4 or 6. Only 2 harakat. Strictly 2 harakat. And they are al-tabi'i, al-badal, al-iwad, wa silat al-sughra. Al-tabi'i is like the one you said, قال يقول قيل سوف قريش. And the conditions are the letter of mad or lin should be sakin. The letter before the letter of mad must have its corresponding haraka. Or fatha for waw and ya, because the fatha for waw or ya refers to the lin, like sofa, qurayshin. There shouldn't be sukun or hamza after the letter of mad. Either fake sukun or real sukun, or hamza, there shouldn't be sukun or hamza. And then we have mad al-badal. Basically, it is stretching the hamza. It's just like mad al-tabi'i, but with hamza before the letter of mad. The letter of mad should be sakin, just like tabi'i. The letter before the letter of mad must have its corresponding haraka. Before the letter of mad, there should be hamza. This is the only difference than tabi'i. And then we have mad al-iwad, like alima, khabira, basira. If you're gonna stop on them, the word must be a noun. There must be tanween fatha, and must stop on the word. Because if you don't stop on the word, you're just gonna say aliman. But if you're gonna stop, say alima. Just like khabiran, khabira, basiran, basira. And you gave examples, and we said another exception is that if there is a feminine ha, then we don't say, the rule doesn't apply. Like shajarah, just replace the ta, or feminine ha with the ha when stopping. But if you're not gonna stop, you just say shajaratan, you just pronounce it ta. But if you're gonna stop, it's gonna be a ha. Shajarah. And mad as-sila sughra, he said ahlahu wa mithlahum wa raj'ihi laqadir. So there must be a ha dhamir. The ha dhamir must have haraka. The letter before it and after it must have haraka. Doesn't matter what haraka. The ha dhamir must have a hamza. Must not have a hamza after it. And the ha dhamir, we said, must be ghaib, mudhakkar, and mufrad. Ghaib, third person, mudhakkar, male, and mufrad is singular. And this is the end of this lesson. Inshallah, next week we're going to be discussing ahkam al-mad, the فرعي part, the one with 2, 4 or 6, gotta study that, يعني see the categories and take inshallah the first ones. And yeah, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.